Let there be peace and love. Welcome to Satsang. In order to that to reveal itself, one has to shut up. And that has to be seen as I has to shut up. Who cares about the talk of I? So don't bring I with you. And still, if this body is meant to live more, I will reappear, but devoid of the belief it's real. For that, you really have to dedicate a moment alone. And know, because you come to satsang, you hear it again and again, that that is the direction, or that's it. Because you so far give values to something else. You have to know that this is beyond values. This is not depending on anybody who gives values or not. So is there any difficulty to hear this, to hear this? If so, please ask. Then you all of you come to satsang because it's of no use anymore, but you love it. Or give me a team so that I can help you today. Yeah. Oh, I really don't understand. I don't understand. Somebody can tell me. I'm really sorry, I don't understand. Yeah. 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 Because you see, it is still the concern of somebody, and it is not well heard, and I know it. I know it, that we have to use the same words, but normally to bring you somewhere else than to understanding of the mind, you see? So it may be very important for a while to understand well, to be clear, to be discriminative. You see, you always are it, okay? This you have to trust. But it is something in the mind which tells you something else. Okay? But obviously. And the mind looks like real because I was a mind looks like real. Yeah. So when you give a moment, tell me, is there any I at that time? The moment you want to give the moment, there is an I. But when you give this moment, what is there? Yes. Yes. That's called I am that. But you see, you still give so much power to the mind, to the appearing mind, that when it rises, and of course it does, it is the existence of disappearance, you still believe there is something there very valuable to solve this, where you already tasted it. You don't give value because I is not there. No. Know that you have to blindly trust. This is it, and all the rest have a brainwash. All the rest is the mind. Why should I go there? It will never tell me a truth. The mind has its lies and has its limited truths, which are lies too, about this subject. And that's how it is said, keep quiet, means don't stir up even a thought like I which comes up with something. You are that all the time. It's there. It doesn't look like anything for the mind. But don't believe the mind. I tell you again and again, don't trust this mind. Don't bind yourself to its suggestions. You have to admit that one suffers not because he has nothing, but because he links himself always, endlessly, all our life to something, something, something. We don't give a rest. We don't give a breath to the self to reveal itself. And we complain about it, that's why we search. So, hear it, you see. Because you see, even if it is I who dedicate a moment alone, means without looking at anything, thus I can remain as the one you knew. Thus I can remain with no experience, with no color, with no image, with no thought, with no emotions. Thus I remain. And you love when you read, and the I dissolves like salt into water. And you love those sentences. But when it happens to you, you don't recognize that it meant this. You see? I cannot remain if you don't give him food. And the food of I is whatever is the movement of the mind, whatever is proposed, suggested, experienced. Because you need I for those things, otherwise you don't have a question about it. So, know your real nature means realize that you are that, and don't worry about the appearing time where there is this person, I, and something is identified for a while with this, is busy with this. It is not up to the person to be freed anyway, and the person is in time, and it will be busy, and it will be sometimes, if there was a previous practice, have quiet moments too. But you see, don't form this concept that this life will look like enlightenment. Don't change anything to this life. Who are you? This is already the creation of the self. Who are we? And it is created, it is seen because there is identification and non-identification. Because it is black and it is white. So it is not about having attained something in the life. It is rather completely to click, to wake up, that I was never what appears. I am always myself. And you see, when the person has this experience of being identified, as you know, The appearance starts as a span of life, dies, disappears. Where are you left when this is disappear? When you know that I don't want to hook myself all the time in the mind. Where are you going? In your own self. You are the self you have always been, and in that way you can say nothing happened. Because the happenings don't root. They don't have a reality to root. It's like mirage. You see a palm tree, you see water. There is no root. That's why it disappears. If you approach, if you suddenly wake up, oh, where I was, doesn't matter. In time it always be that play. Oh, where I was. Oh, doesn't matter. It's part of this game. Yeah. When you go to the finances, as I had to go this morning, do you think that I was not identified? I looked at the numbers, I looked at every paper missing, not missing. I trembled because I know they are a bit tricky. Then what? If I was not identified, he would have think, oh, this one I can do anything. No, you have to be there. Or can you not be there when the circumstances need your attention? Can you be attentive to something and be simply, oh no, I abide in the, somebody telling I abide in the self? Bullshit. It's really bullshit. Because you see, it is, you don't place yourself now in reality on this mirage, on this movie. You are the screen. You know you are the screen. So that conviction, that, don't tell me it's a conviction of somebody, I have no word, that conviction, that authority, that self-authority will not allow to mistake, to confuse yourself anymore. Even though in the movie, well, it doesn't appear that great as it should be normally. Who cares? Who cares then? Yeah. You see, that's why the company of your master, the company of satsang alive, the company of that which speaks about it, is extremely valuable, essential also, because it forms a solid background. Because you see, if this body doesn't die at the event, I would say, of realization, and realization is not that event, it will have a life. It will not be like a ghost. The senses are still there, otherwise it would be dying, and so on, and so on, and so on. So there is a life attached to this. But you know very well then, which control have you? Which control have you with this life which is attached to this? But you know, it's not my real nature. That authority then is very essential. Because don't think that the lives of the liberated one is applying those words, eternal bliss and harmony and peace. This is the description, a trial of a description of what you really are. The life is full of past karmas, is full of some flows have to be burnt, and it's not always saintly. It is not always holy. But it has to be burnt. It is the last incarnation. So never rely on what you see. And don't be afraid that things happen. I am not it. So you see that wisdom has to be printed that much, and it will be only when you hear it again and again till it's your own fact. Because this life is turbulence by nature. It's turbulence.
Is it good to meditate on a certain mantra then? Like, I am not my body, I am not my mind? Can this help? Or
it helps probably when you are too much in trouble. Then you can always have that bone. It's good to have that bone.
Yes.
And as soon as you are freed from it, you give up the bone also. Yeah, why not?
Can I go back to the split second?
Yeah.
You know the expression when we bet all our horses on something? We're
No.
betting all the horses.
Yeah.
So I think I'm betting all my horses
Yeah,
on the split second.
and the split second.
Should I keep it? Should I turn the wheel the other way?
Oh no.
I'm afraid
Can
of
you?
being too obsessed.
But the search of liberation is an obsession. Because you see, we call it an obsession when you are one-pointed. We are obsessed. We are mentally very ill. But that obsession goes back to the source. You see? Because who is obsessed? And if you go directly to the source with that, you don't worry about your obsession. If you reply I, then who am I? And you dive where the questions dives. And you may need to do that again and again because of the strength of habit. So here you see, don't mistake, they are just habits. Strong habits, they will be ruined by bringing them back to the source. I mean, the sense of reality I meant about the habits. Yeah? But the one who is not obsessed, it is his difficulty, you see. Because it means there is another obsession also somewhere else, and that doesn't help because this desire for freedom is extremely uncompromising, jealous, all the bad qualities you can imagine. It has to be alone to have to wake up, to be able to wake up. One doesn't know how he wakes up, huh? But who tells you that you are not waked up, awakened up? Oh, I don't know. You must listen to your mind. So you are not one-pointed obsessed as you think. The only, if there is any trouble, is to have once listened to the mind. I'm born. And so, we have to understand that. We have once listened to the mind. That brought us to this amazing wandering in the universe. So let's go back from where it started. So don't listen to the mind. And don't have fear, listen to the mind according to what you have to do in circumstances that will not trouble. When it's over, I am what I am. As simple than that.
Ganga.
Yeah.
How is it possible? How is it operating? This discrimination between the absolute I and the I. When does it appear? How is it working?
The discrimination?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's only I am someone, maybe now a seeker, or maybe I am someone, I have a sense of I. Only him needs discrimination. Huh? And one thing actually, no, I don't understand is discrimination, because nothing is that, so you have to negate only. That is the sharp discrimination. You cannot say this is real, this is unreal, and this is real
Yeah.
as I. So everything is not real. Don't know if it is very.
Yeah, because my observation is that sometimes, for example, a conversation, starting a conversation, I feel quiet, and but suddenly at the moment, the personality comes and make it wanting to make it funny or to make humor, and then I saw.
Then you.
Then I saw that my personality is bringing back a kind of personage.
Oh, but this person will always be like it, freed or not.
Yeah, it is not the absolute I.
The personality, not.
No.
What appears is not the absolutely I, sure.
So, if I follow you, in a way, after negating everything, I'm not this, I'm not my feeling, I'm not my weakness, I'm not my body, I'm not what appears. So there is only one thing that remains. It's kind of, I don't know, the word, it's kind of presents something that is...
Yeah, but you see, you spoil it with trying to describe it.
Yeah.
Because you need the describer for that.
Yeah.
Keep quiet. Don't use any more. Who cares what you live then? You have to have that much trust. Yeah. Don't describe. And I don't like this word presence. Because it has too much concept taken for so great. Oh, I could say a word. No. Who knows what it is? And it's very strange, because at the same time you know very well what it is. So much that the search is dropped and you don't need to describe. You see? So, that's it. With the mind, you don't know what it is. In itself, it reveals itself. It knows very well what it is. And with my mind, I know very well what it is not. So it's not present. You see, it's very strange, in fact, because if I say that, maybe it's so that you recognize yourself the same. When I was waiting for Papaji on the bank of the Ganga, I was meditating, and in fact I was exactly in the same as I am now. But I was searching. I was searching. And now it's the same, but I don't search anymore. It's crazy. Yes. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Thank you very much for this satsang because, let's say, 2 months ago, I started to question
Okay.
everything about my life.
Yeah.
And these questions, okay, I was listening to some video about self-inquiry.
Yeah, yeah.
And I started to do this, to look
Yeah.
very deeply. What's burden?
Yeah.
The burden with my life, it's identification, I know that.
Mm.
And I started to question. And to question deeply and to see what was feelings, sensations, everything. And then I also start to come here and you talk about self-inquiry and talk about a very beautiful satsang yesterday. And at the same time I was reading Ramana Gospel.
Yeah.
And I stood in the last chapel, and because it's a book, I read something, I read again,
Yeah.
and I read
Right.
again and again.
Right.
And in this self-inquiry, when I said, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not, basically my identification,
Yes.
I'm not.
Yes.
But of course, I still was identified. But then, with the last chapel, I just stood in the source of this split moment and understand that I'm not this. Of course, sometimes it comes, but now differently.
Mm.
And it was so wonderful this last satsang yesterday, and also reading Hamana, because our mind is presenting
Yes.
lots always, always. And I could understand when you said, when I was in the river, Ganga was the same that I'm here, but of course you don't pay attention to the notifications so much as I'm paying in my life. Thank you.
Keep it.
Yeah,
Yes. Don't express too much.
yes,
I'm happy. I'm happy to hear. Yes.
My trip is coming to an end. I'm chuckling a lot, laughing a lot, because this journey I've seen there are many more gentler ways of self-inquiry than I have been executing so far, which is nice to see, and I'd like to thank everybody here and Jill for sharing. Well, I would say easier for me eventually, because I have the more bulldozer approach.
Really? I would like to hear that.
Yeah, it's nice. But, it's good to know what I have been doing.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Vivian. Welcome. To come back to expression, you see, maybe here I'm bulldozer too. Some events gives you such a joy. You even don't know how to express your gratitude. But no, it's an expression, and even though it looks all your life you will express this way, it will not. It will not. So don't take any expression for it. And gratitude, I would not call it even an expression, because gratitude doesn't come from the mind. And don't try to solve that mystery. Do you like to say a word, Bidjan, that in your own words,
About?
always the same?
From my experience, my mother would always tell me that not being afraid is a lack of intelligence. Because I was never a careful person.
Uh-huh.
And as I was talking about the bulldozer method, for me it's always interesting to see if you break everything down, this will try to rebuild something else, and then you can break it down again, and it will try to rebuild something else. So that is the fluidity. I hope people's relationship with pain is just as good as their relationship with love, because there's
Yeah.
nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you know who you are?
Yes, I remain.
Thank you. Something comes up. You see, about the split second, maybe it doesn't concern you anymore, but I would add also to say it's not that you wait for the split second and so on. It happens when you don't know. It's like you wake up, it's like a blink of an eye. it's afterwards you would say, oh, it's amazing, didn't take time. In a split second I woke up. You see? Just to confirm that it's always there. So don't wait for the split second. Don't make a split second. It will happen the moment you don't hook yourself to the mind. But don't have this thing like an attainment to achieve a split second. It's just expressed sometimes in this way. Afterwards, when you know that it still belonged to the hallucination we were in. Because even to say to wake up, as if we were never wake up, but we have to speak like this because we believe that we are asleep or we are something's wrong because we listen to the mind. What is ever awake.
I've seen that it doesn't really matter if I'm identified or not.
Okay.
And yet, when, like last week, there was a lot of burning, I did in the first instant not realize that it comes up to leave me. So I have all kinds of movements around it, and it takes me time to come to see it's just as everything else, an appearance, a mirage. It's not real.
Don't care. I said don't care about it. Otherwise you care about time. It should be like this.
Yes.
It should not be like that. Don't care about it.
Because when I care, then it's the mind.
The truth will never be in this appearance. Not in caught by time. It's not caught by space. Don't worry. Don't worry. And if you worry, it means you still worry. It should appear differently than you want that it happens to you. To the dreamer.
Ganga, what is the best advice that you can give to all us seekers of truth and of is to shut
I
up.
am telling it all the time. I can take a loudspeaker, I feel like. I mean, I am telling it all the time.
Yes, but it's the first time I am here.
Yes,
so I
yes.
just met you now.
Yeah, yes. don't stir up a thought. Don't think. If you add this, then you keep that thought, and then it will be difficult. Don't keep a thought. And then we see next.
And to do and learn this by meditation or
No, well,
yeah,
tell me, not to keep a thought.
it is, yes. It's
Just now it can be done.
of course.
Yeah. You see, it will never happen through a practice. You may have to do a lot of practice before, depends on everybody, but it is never the result of a practice. You just wake up.
Just happens.
In the dream, it just happens. Yeah.
I do not quite know how to express,
Yeah.
but it has to do with nothing.
Yeah.
It's to know that I can't even say the word. It sounds stupid, but to know there is nothing. Is that a trick of the mind? To know that
It's
nothing
not
is.
true also. It's not even nothing. This is a conclusion of the mind, you see. And it cannot go further than nothing. Just know it's you cannot say something more with the mind, but it is still the mind speaking. So don't catch the mind.
That's really funny. It's simple.
what to do with the dreamer?
Let him dream. Let him dream. But you know it. You see, you are that, not what you see. You are the seer, never forget. You are not what you see. You are not what you know. That goes on changing, seeing, knowing. But where you can see, from where you can see, that is not subject to changes.